just called. So let's call Joe Luna. That can be the next thing, guys. Let's call Joe Luna. I'd like to address everything today. All the extra stuff that's left over. We'll talk about the Chicago trip and all that stuff. Very unfortunate, because right now Joe's going to be put in a... I don't hate Joe, but he's going to be in a precarious situation right now, because some lies you can get out of, some you can't.
Hello?
Joe. It's Josh. You're live. You're live, Joe.
Yes?
Okay. So I wanted to talk to you about a couple things, Joe.
Okay.
Okay. Do you remember, and if you don't, that's fine. You can say you don't remember. Do you remember when I said, oh, geez, I have to pay for the hotel room again tonight? And myself, you, Danielle, and Freeman One News drove to the Hotel Essex. They parked outside. I paid for the room, and then we all went upstairs to that restaurant, and we had drinks until we went to the next place, and we had an issue with me charging it to my room, and they had an actual issue on my credit card, like authorizing my personal credit card. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that, and didn't I tell you if you wanted me to go inside? And you said no?
Right, so you were there when I paid for my hotel, and you were there when I paid for dinner on my personal card at the hotel, because it's a room charge, okay? It's a room charge. So I paid for the room with my card, and then I paid for dinner with my card. So you were present for that. Joe?
Probably because that idiot just tried to call again.
Oh, we lost Joe. Hold on a second, guys. I want to call him. So he remembers that, guys. So first Joe Luna, question blocked. All right? So he remembers it happening. He was there when I paid for my hotel and there when I paid for my food, but Judge Mathis paid for it. Let's address the Chicago trip, guys. Danielle was asked to go on Judge Greg Mathis, okay? She was put on as a backup because the dates we were going to Chicago didn't work. They didn't coincide, okay? So we went to... No, I didn't hang up on him. I'm going to call him right back in a second. We went to Chicago, and she did Judge Greg Mathis. The last day we were there, we went from Judge Greg Mathis to the airport, okay? They send her a check. They didn't give her any money to go there, okay? They didn't pay for her trip there. They didn't pay for the hotel. My point being is, I said any money that's donated after the expenses to get us there will be given to Joe Luna. They donated $388. The trip came close to $900. On top of that, I paid for everything while I was there. So let's call Joe back and see if he'll deny any of that. I don't think he will. So we just want to figure out, what he has to say. 1 second he's saying that everything was paid for, my hotel, my beverage, everything, and the next second he's saying, yeah, I was there when you paid for it. Which one is it? Maybe he won't answer back this time.
Hello?
Joe, sorry, I don't know what happened. You got disconnected there. So I was just giving people an update. And so you were there when now let me ask you a question. Whenever we went out to dinner, the Chinese restaurant, the drinks after we went and talked to the 17th precinct, Starbucks, whenever you were with me, when did you pay for something? And I'm talking about everyone, because there was normally between 5 to 6 people with us. Every time we went out, who paid for everything?
You did, but didn't I always tell you I want to pay for my shit, and you said, no, I got it?
Yep, exactly, Joe. So, but that's fine, yeah. I'm not saying that you didn't offer to pay. I'm just, so we're clarifying. So for the 4 days that we went out, we never ate breakfast together, but for the 4 days we went out, we had dinner and drinks together several times a night, every night, and sometimes lunch. And that added up to, so you agree I paid for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I never denied that you didn't pay anything, though.
Thank you. Well, you said that there's allegations that my hotel and my plane were paid for. So secondly... Yeah. So secondly... You were with me at the Hotel Essex when I paid for my room, and then we went upstairs, and maybe you'll remember, I had an issue with my card going through, and maybe you'll remember the issue. the hotel double charged my personal card. So they were having trouble processing the dinner charge. They're saying, hey, listen, the hotel, you just paid for your room, right? Yeah. Well, they processed your charge twice. So we're having trouble paying for dinner on that personal card. We're going to try and figure it out. Do you have another way to pay? And I said, no, I only have my credit card. Do you remember that, Joe?
Yeah, I remember that. I remember you mentioning that too, and
Okay.
I seen you arguing with them.
Okay.
But
So-
here's my other question.
All right, so let's go one at a time. Let's go one at a time. So we'll get to that question next, okay? I want to make sure everything is addressed. So I paid for all the food and drinks. Done. Check off the list. We don't have to talk about that. Second issue. People are saying that my hotel was paid for by Judge Greg Mathis. We were just able to confirm by you that you were present when I paid for my hotel, and the staff even said we charged you twice on your card for your hotel. So now we've just proved with your testimony that I paid for my own hotel. So the third question you had was what, Joe?
Okay. The first hotel that you were with, who paid that hotel?
I paid for that hotel. We couldn't afford it after the second night.
And when I told you here's my second question. When I told you I'll meet you up at the airport, what did you tell me?
That I had a ride.
Okay.
When I landed, do you mean, Joe? Or when I came or when I left?
When you came.
When I came. Yeah, I said I didn't need you to pick me up. I had a ride.
Okay.
Okay.
So why? Okay. Here's my other question.
Yep.
Then why in the video it says you were talking before that about Judge Mathis?
Because she got an
That
email.
was my business, and I just didn't want anyone to know.
Okay, so
about
go ahead.
it.
So go ahead.
I just didn't want anyone to know. And plus, we weren't supposed to say anything.
So, first of all, that's her personal business. It's a civil lawsuit. But secondly, that wasn't why we were there. They didn't talk to her, not me, because it wasn't my case, until last minute. Because they said, hey, can you want to come to Chicago and film? No, we can't. We already have plane tickets. The dates aren't going to work. So they said, fine, done deal. Now, you'll remember when I was in Chicago, after we were filming, what happened the day that I left. I said, hey, listen, something just came up. I was asked to do some TV stuff, and I have to go there last minute. And I was actually talking to them on the phone in front of you. They asked us last minute, they say, hey, one of our guys missed their flight. The offer still stands. You're still in Chicago. We'll write you a check and mail it to you for $250. Do you want to come on the show? We were already wrapped up. You and I got into a disagreement, and we had a plane to catch. And we said, you know what? As long as that's extra exposure, it'll air in a couple months. It's as long as they get us on the air and we can make our plane, that's fine. And what happened, Joe? So were you also aware how I changed my flight dates, Joe? Remember how I changed my flight for an extra day?
Yeah.
Okay, so I went to the airport by myself and I changed my flight ticket, right?
Yeah.
I would have had to have the show go down there for me, Joe. They would have had to bring their credit card. If the show paid for it, Joe, it would have been on their card and I would have been able to make no changes to the reservation. Someone from the show would have had to gone down there, produce a new card, and on top of that, the tickets would have been in their name. The tickets were both in my name. Okay, Joe? So I decided to pay out of my pocket to stay an extra night on my flight and then had you pick me up from the airport. So because she's already in Chicago and she goes on Judge Greg Mathis, is it true to say, Joe, that while I was filming with you, there were several days where Danielle was not with us because she was out doing personal things? Were there a couple days she wasn't with us?
No, I never said that though.
Okay. So someone says you could have bought a one-way flight. I could have, but the thing was we didn't know if what day we'd be coming back, if we could stay there a little bit longer. And plus, one of our subscribers works for Southwest Airlines. So, if you guys will remember, Vash 469 works for Southwest. And I said, I'll come down there because he said I can get you free tickets, right? And it wasn't working out. Notice how I took Southwest back. What do you think? I called you so I'm glad we're able to figure this out. So you were present when I paid for my hotel, okay? And here's the thing. I was staying at, what was the name of that first hotel I was at? What was the name of that one?
I have no idea.
So it was $280 a night, and it was right in the heart of downtown. We stayed there because of where it was. After 2 nights of that, We couldn't afford it. So that's why I went to the Hotel Essex and paid $126. Acme, thank you. I paid $126 for the one at Essex, the one at Hotel Essex, because I couldn't afford it. Not for nothing, but if Judge Greg Mathis was paying for my trip, they wouldn't be having me bounce around from hotels to hotel. I've done some research. When you go on Mathis, because I would know, but we didn't plan to go there. We took it as a last minute thing because we were already done with everything else. They fly you out the night before, so I would get there at 7 p.m., 8 p.m. I would go on their show the next morning, and I would leave from there to the airport. I was in Chicago for 4 days paying for everything. So unless, Judge Greg Mathis gave me my own credit card with my own name on it, I'm glad we were able to address these issues. Is there anything else, Joe? We got $388. The trip cost just under $900. Okay, so I paid about $400 out of pocket for the American Airlines flight there, the Southwest flight back. I paid for everyone's food and beverage, which you have agreed to all this while I was there, for a grand total.
Yes, I never denied that.
For a grand total of $2,800 was spent out of pocket. And you're upset that I didn't give you any money. What money should I have given you, Joe? Please tell me.
Can you just explain the money?
All right. To clarify all this, remember when we were making the video with people, when like on 11/12?
Yeah, I said that any money that was extra, so after the plane ticket and where we were staying, any extra money would go to your lawyer, correct?
Correct. And
Okay.
remember this, you said one person donated $200 and you were going to divide it into everybody?
Yes. Yep, you're talking about when we touched down into Chicago. Yes, I do.
Yes.
Okay?
That, and then the $100 that someone else donated when we were in the car.
Correct. So Joe, you're able to be monetized now because you have 1,000 subscribers. So you know how that works. So I can absolutely do that as soon as YouTube pays me. But how would you like me to give you something that I don't have? They donated it through Super Chat, Joe, right? They donated it live through Super Chat. So that money is available at the end of the following month. What is today's date, Joe?
Today's
I don't even know what the date is.
the 28th.
The 28th. So the 31st would be the end of the month?
No. Yeah, the 30th.
The 30th. Okay. So I got donated money on Super Chat, and you're upset that I haven't given you the money that hasn't been paid yet. How would you like me to give it to you, Joe? In IOUs? I figured I'd just wait until the money actually hit my account. Would you like to see my account? Hold on. Hold on, guys. This is why I love doing this, because I understand Joe's upset. He goes on Turtle Boy and says, I didn't give him any extra money. There was no extra money to give. I spent it all out of pocket. What isn't mentioned is when he said, when Josh came here, he said he was going to give me any money extra after travel and expenses. And he didn't do that. I was given $300 and it cost a total of $900. He didn't mention that. He said that my whole trip was paid for by Judge Greg Mathis. But now he's explaining to people that he was present when I paid for my hotel by myself, when I paid for everyone's food and drinks, when I went to the airport to do my own flights. Now the truth comes out, okay? And maybe he was just confused because they were taking advantage of him. That's possibility too. So here we are in analytics, guys.
No one's taking advantage of me.
Okay, well then why did you go on Turtle Boy and not tell the truth then?
I wasn't in the truth.
So, but did the truth just change? Because you said Judge Mathis paid for my trip. What proof do you have of that? Can you tell me the proof? Because you went publicly.
Okay, have you watched my videos though? Did I ever say Judge Mathis?
You
Did I ever say Judge Mathis?
Did you not call? Did you not speak to me on the phone the other night and tell me right to my face that you know I got my trip paid for by Judge Mathis, and then I yelled at you and hung up the phone? See, here's the thing: the truth doesn't change. People have to keep up with their lies.
Okay, you called me the other day.
Yep.
And I was working. I never picked up.
Okay, so here's my AdSense account, guys. This is Accountability for All's AdSense. Okay. This is how much money I have right now because it's not the end of the month. 0. Okay? Now, the most recent payment I have, guys, is $2,324.62. It's available to be paid on the 21st of September, and it takes 10 to 14 days to receive that payment. So that's the payment I'm getting, and that's the money I have, because it hasn't hit my account. Paperwork don't lie. So yeah, Joe, I did say I'd split that money with you. Unfortunately, I have to wait to get it. What else?
All right, here's my other question.
Yep.
Why did you say I was talking shit when I did it?
Did you go on Turtle Boy?
But was I talking shit?
You said that my
No.
trip. You said you did. I mean, call it talking shit, or call it lying, call it misunderstanding the situation, call it misrepresenting. But you said that I watched the interview with you in Disorderly Product News, and you said to him, and I'm quoting.
Did I ever say anything bad about you?
Yes, telling the not truth is a lie. Do you understand that people think I
never
pocketed
lied.
people
I
as?
never lied. People were asking me, Josh. People were asking me.
So why didn't you say what happened? People, I listened to the interviews. Why didn't you say I was there when Josh paid for his room?
I got the donations, and I said, no, I didn't. People were asking me the same questions over and over and over again.
Okay, so you
Everyone
just
said, yes, I got the donations.
you just answered your question. You just answered your question. People asked you if you received the donations. You said no. There was no donations for you to receive, and I showed you my phone. Is it not true that I actually should? Joe, let me ask you a question. Did I not go on my analytics pay and my AdSense and show you the numbers there to give you an example of how much money you can make once the money comes in? Did I not do that?
Yeah, you showed me.
I showed you.
Were you there when people kept asking me over and over every single day, every single 30 minutes, did you get the donation we donated? And I was like, no. So I decided to go to the interview.
Right, but
I never once talked shit about you. Never did. I never said, Josh, after you, this and that. Never said that.
right. So you're saying that.
I backstabbed you?
So
That's
why
what's
wouldn't
wrong.
you tell people?
No, hold on. And then you used to send me a text message that said that I'm done? Really?
Yeah, what you did was dumb, Joe.
No,
I mean, not for
you said
nothing.
I'm done.
Look like something.
You made it look like something else. You made it look like you were getting first of all, I said right from the beginning, Joe, do you want to just me to set up a PayPal account for you? You can tell me if you remember this conversation in the very beginning, right? And you said no. And we talked about the whole reason that I could probably get more people to donate because I have more subscribers, whatever. But not 1 cent of this, and we've proved it now, was used frivolously. Not 1 cent was taken from people. Disorderly Product News said to you, what happened? You said, oh, Josh is supposed to give me extra money. Disorderly Product News said, did he give it to you? And you said no. Your response should have been, there was no extra money. I was there when he paid for the hotel.
How was I supposed to know? How was I supposed to know?
Because you were there, Joe.
That's the thing.
You were there.
Okay,
Perfect. So that works, right? And here's the thing, Joe. I don't think that you're like the other ones. I think that they took advantage of you, just like the cops took advantage of you in the first place and they called you mentally ill and all that stuff. I hate the other guys. I don't hate you. I'm disappointed by it because you know me. We spent time together. You never told people I showed you all my paperwork. You never told people that I showed you all the payments. You never told people I paid for everything while I was there. You never told people that you were present when I paid for the hotel.
because they never asked me that.
Joe.
If people would have asked me, I would have answered them.
All right, so you're saying now publicly, to correct the record, that you know for a fact that I paid for my own hotel.
Like I said in the beginning, you paid for the second hotel. I don't know about the first hotel. You paid for the second one.
Okay, so I mean,
I never deny that.
Okay.
And never lie about that, and never will lie about that.
Oh, you can't speak to something you don't know. So if you're not aware of the first one, but okay, so you're aware of so you know that I paid for the hotel. Okay, when I was there.
Yeah, because we were there, and that's how you pay that shit.
Perfect. And I told you I was going to change my flight reservations, and I went and changed my flight. I just wanted to correct the record, Joe. That's all, because people are saying that. I mean, I don't care about the conspiracy theories. That stuff to me is stupid. But people are saying that I went down there on an all-expenses paid trip and I pocketed money. And it pisses me off when I'm out there defending your freedom and defending myself, and I'm paying for everything. Because not one person gave me a dime the entire time I was there. I spent over $2,500 in total with everything. And $320 or something was donated to me, and I didn't accept a dime from one person. That's me on the line. And you know the only thing I wanted from you, Joe? I wanted you to do for me what I did for you. When you got arrested, no one knew, and this is not a bad thing, no one knew who you were, right? Because you just didn't have the subscribers. You're brand new. And I went on your behalf and let the world know what happened. You're speaking to me right now on my live broadcast, and I'm saying I'm on the phone with Joe Luna, and people know who I'm talking about because of what I did that night and because of the sacrifice you made that night, okay? And now you're out doing what you're doing, and I wouldn't let you get bullied. And when Chi-Town Sue was out there saying you never got arrested, this never happened, and people were starting to throw dirt in your name, I stuck by you. So you were arrested illegally, I stood by you, I made everyone know the situation, and now publicly people know who you are because of what I did, and I didn't turn around and run away when people started talking shit. And then when I got arrested, I just wanted you to do for me what I did for you. And that didn't happen. I'm not mad at you.
If you're not mad at me, then why did you block me from Messenger or Facebook? Instead of talking things over, like man.
Because I think what you did was dumb, and it was.
Okay, couldn't you talk to me like that, like a human being? Instead of blocking me?
Joe, do you remember what your first response was? When I called you, I said, what's going on? Why are you releasing these interviews? And after everything I've done for you and with you, you really went on Turtle Boy? Talk to me about it, bud. And your first response was, why didn't you tell me about how your trip and it was paid for? And it's like, you were there. You were there. It's like I'm in an alternate reality. Unbroken. Like you were there when I paid for the hotel. Like not for nothing. If someone says, if someone has an interview with me and they say, did you meet Joe Luna? And I say yes. And there's a bunch of people saying, well, Joe Luna beat up a baby. I'm going to say, no, Joe Luna didn't beat up a baby. Just because they didn't ask me about it, I'm going to correct the record. You knew what the truth was. And you didn't stand up to correct it and defend me. Listen, I'm not asking for much. I traveled across the country and spent thousands of dollars to defend you. All I asked you to do is to tell people the truth.
I did.
Well, you did today.
No, I did always tell the truth. Way before this interview. So.
All right, anything else you want to say to the people? So you have an apology for me? Because I can pull up the interview right now and I'll just play it aloud.
Go ahead, go do that.
Where you said that you said specifically that Judge Mathis paid for my hotel and my plane. So do you want to apologize for any misinformation?
Go right ahead.
Okay. It's unfortunate. You know what I mean? At this point, you admit that, yeah, I know you paid for this stuff. Just say it. She's pulling up on the computer. I know. It's a bad look. Whatever. He doesn't want to apologize. He doesn't have to apologize, guys. It's unfortunate. Anything you want to say to the people while we're pulling up this interview, Joe? Ray Alvarez says, Joe, he is right. You should apologize to him.
I just think Joe was bullied into saying and how they wanted to be perceived.
Unfortunate. Ignorant pleb. Joe didn't apologize? Anything you want to say to the people, Joe? He's belly laughing. Anything you want to say to the people, Joe? No? I think he hung up, guys. Yep. He hung up. It's unfortunate, guys, right? That was a civil conversation that I had with him, okay? And here's my concern, is that he's telling people that my trip was paid for by Judge Mathis. He's telling people that I didn't pay for anything. And he's also telling people that when I went to Chicago, I told him I was going to give money. I was going to give him money, and I never gave it to him. And now he just confirms that he's seen all my paperwork. He's seen all my money. He's seen all my financials. And he admitted to that. So he knew that this money wasn't getting paid. That he knew I got $300 and I spent $900. He knew that. He says on other broadcasts that the show paid for my hotel. But he admits here today that he was present when I paid for my hotel with my own card. He says I didn't pay for anything when I was out there. But he admits today that for 4 days straight, there wasn't a lunch or a dinner or a drink that anyone paid for except me, which is fine. Okay? Then he can, my flights weren't paid for by me. But then we find out that the flights were paid for by me. Well, what about the $200 that you're supposed to get, Josh? Well, when I get it, you can have it. I mean, you can't give you what I don't have. I don't have anything because I spent it all there and defending myself now because the people that were supposed to back me up turned on me. It simply comes down for this. And this is what I wanted the apology for. Because he didn't do for me what I did for him. Because I considered him a friend. And I wouldn't do that to my friends. So, but those rumors are corrected. You just heard it from the so-called person who I swindled, right? Who's just on the phone right now saying I paid for all my own shit. Chi-Town Mike Z. No, so Vash is a supporter and a subscriber, and he was supposed to provide me the Southwest airline tickets, but the dates didn't work up, and I wound up coming down American Airlines. So I have my flight tickets. Took American Airlines. Vash works for Southwest. That didn't work out. And we updated everyone that as we went, so there's really no question.